Hi there, and welcome to Events by Autumn. Thank you so much for choosing us as your wedding planner. One of the most exciting things that we offer as part of our wedding planning services is access to this online client portal system. So for starters, we're going to introduce you to the portal system today and take you on a little tutorial. But the portal system, first and foremost, is an online storage location for all of your wedding planning contracts, graphic designs, any Events by Autumn invoices, and also an interactive checklist of anything that we need you to take care of for the wedding day, and a list of everything we're taking care of for the wedding day. So let's go on a little tour of that setup. So for starters, here we are, your first email from us regarding the portal. You're going to want to save this email so you have access to the portal at all times. But you're just going to click on that link and it's going to pop up with this screen. You're going to type in your password that we provide. And here is the desktop to your client portal. So for starters, you've got a home screen, a project screen, an email screen, and a profile. On the home screen, it's going to show you anything that's outstanding left for you to take care of. It's going to show any open invoices, which will always remain as 1 under open invoices until the day that you make the very last payment. This is specifically for a basic full service package. So she has made 2 payments at this point in time. And then down here at the bottom, you're going to see all the incomplete forms. So up at the top where you see incomplete forms, down here is where you're going to access all of those documents. So you're able to click on each of these individually and answer any questions and move through these forms and finalize them so that they get out of the incomplete status. Also, under unread emails means that there's 2 emails that I've sent that she has not responded to at this point in time. So it just keeps you updated on what still needs to be done. Let's click on the Projects tab. The project will always be a wedding, unless you're hiring me for more than just the actual wedding itself. But in most cases, even the wedding weekend is just listed under the wedding. The details is the wedding date. Obviously, the invoices, is, as we said, is incomplete because she hasn't made the final payment yet. Contracts is the Events by Autumn contract. And then as we get other vendor contracts, we're going to work on digitizing all of our vendor contracts in the future, so they will show up on this line as well. Now we're down to the Documents tab. Anything in red is an incomplete document, which, like we said on that front page, let's go back to the front page real quick on the home page. These are incomplete documents. So when you get over to the Projects tab and you're looking at the Projects tab, anything from that front page that's showing up in red here is an incomplete document from the home page. So let's go through these documents and do a quick little scan of what's provided. So first of all, we've got the wedding floral sketch. This happens a lot further down the road when we're usually about 6 months out to 4 months out from the wedding date. But this is just a sketch of what the bride has told the florist that she's interested in having for her wedding flowers. Wedding layout is one of the first things that we'll do for you, but it's always a work in progress until we know that final guest count about a month out. But here is a Google map that maps out everything that's happening, where it's happening on the wedding day, so you can kind of get a bird's eye view. Then we have a ceremony layout, which maps out on each side the assigned seating for the groom's side and the bride's side. This is a Jewish wedding, so we've got the groom's side on the left and the bride's side on the right. It depends on your denomination as to what side we'll put you on. But this is a mix of chairs and benches. And then obviously as we get further in the planning, we're going to get the best man's name and the maid of honor's name to plug in here, as well as the cantor's name that's run in the ceremony. Reception layout, you can see I actually did this to scale based on what we were looking at above. So let's look above here. We've got the house that we'll use as a backup plan, the bar off to the side, and the cocktail hour and lounge in this covered area up above. So if you scroll down, we've got the house, the bar, and the cocktail hour. So it's all laid out here to scale, and then she wants to have a reception out on the lawn. So we've mapped out the tables and chairs that we'll be using out on the lawn. So this form you'll be able to approve, or if you can mark if you'd like to see changes. No matter what, on any of these forms, if it's asking you for input, always click send, because that sends me a notification that you've done something in the form. If you only click Save Draft, I don't get a notification and I won't have any idea that you've done anything in the form. So please always click Send to make sure we get the info. All right, that is layouts. Mood boards. Mood boards also happen pretty soon after we've started designing and planning the wedding so that we can get a better feel for the overall gist and vibe of what you're going for. So this is our ceremony mood board. As you can see, a mix of benches and chairs like I showed you on that other map. Let's go down to cocktail hour, just basic cocktail hour with her colors, ideas for specialty drinks, some of the appetizers that she's wanting, just images of something that's going to inspire the caterer and inspire the florist as to what she's looking for. Reception, now there's actual images from the venue, images of tabletops that she absolutely loved, that she wanted to use as her inspiration, images of the napkins that she likes to use, things like that, just to get the same vibe that we're going for, like I said before. Runners on the tables, things like that. And then the last thing on here is the flower arrangements. We try to give vendors the tools to succeed, but not specifically tell them exactly what they need to do. We rely on professional vendors to do what professional vendors do, and that's designing and getting creative with what they can offer to give you your dream wedding on the budget that you have to work with. So this bride, for example, loves this color scheme of the ivory tan, olive green, hunter green, and gray. So these are her ideas that she liked for flowers, but really we want to just show this image to the florist and let them go wild with what they think fits along with this same vibe. So that is mood boards, and that's how we use those. Then we're moving on to some questionnaires. You're going to get a bunch of questionnaires, and I'm just going to show you the wedding music one as an example. But here's ceremony music. You have the ability to plug in the processional song, what song you want your bridesmaids and groomsmen to walk down the aisle to, your bridal processional song, the ceremony recessional song, cocktail hour music, and then it goes through your reception and what you want for your reception. If you want a grand entrance, if who's doing toasts, if we need a microphone for all that, father-daughter dance, mother-son dance, first dance, things like that. All the special dances and any kind of music that's really special to you. Some of these forms will have a button that shows show missing items. That's because we really do want to know anything that has a little red star next to it. You can see right here we got a little red star. If you don't know the answer to a question, you can write I don't know, but things that like this or you don't have a preference, you can write I don't have a preference. But something like this, when it's the first dance song, we want to know who's the artist of the first dance song to make sure that we play the right version. So again, you're going to press send. This one won't let you send right now because you still have missing fields you have to fill out. So you will always have to fill out the missing fields even if you have no preference. I'll just plug that in and then press send so we get a notification. The same is going to go for things like the photography questionnaire, the ceremony questionnaire, the hair and makeup questionnaire, all of those things. You'll fill out questionnaires along the same way. Now let's go through planning checklists. This is an example of, as soon as it loads here, this is an example of a year before the wedding. These are all things that the bride is going to need to take care of. We are sending tools. Every time you'll have a list of the tools that we're going to send you to work with. And then down at the bottom is everything that we are working on. So you can see, for example, we've done a lot of work here. We've sent the tools that we need to send. This bride just needs to go through and actually approve what we've sent to her, decide on invitation packaging, begin building a wedding website. She has actually done all these things. She just hasn't gotten back in here and checked these off. And it's important to us that we know that you've done the things that need to be done at a certain timeline so that you're not crunched for time further down the road. So again, once you're finished filling that out, you press send and it sends us a notification. That's going to be the same for your entire year's worth of checklists. You get a checklist every 2 months, so 12 months, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and then when you get down to the last month, it's a single month's checklist with 2 weeks before the wedding, a week before the wedding, the day before, the day of, and the day after. It's going to tell you everything you need to do in that very last checklist. So I suggest looking over that and just being familiar with the things that you're responsible for. We will send out reminders on the checklists a week before we move on to the next month's checklist. So let's say you're approaching the 8-month checklist. A week before we get to the 6 months, you're going to get a notification that says, hey, please finish up your 8-month checklist. Your 6-month checklist is coming out this week. So it just gives you a reminder to stay on top of it and get those tasks done in a timely manner. And also, when you receive your wedding planning workbook in the mail, all of those checklists are going to be listed in the wedding planning workbook. So you can look ahead and skip ahead if you want to. It's just that we won't send you the checklist until we get to that certain part in the timeline. And then you can go through and mark off things that you've already done. We do it that way so it breaks up the planning into more manageable pieces. All right, next thing on here, tablescapes. This is the digital sketch for your tablescapes. This is her finalized version. In preliminary versions, you're going to also get a list of what we mean by what we're drawing. So you'll get actually a checklist of what's included on the tables. This, for example, has the Pilgrim or X-back chairs with pads, a gauze runner on the rectangle and round tables, the farm tables for rounds and rects, glass chargers. You can see they're kind of transparent, but glass chargers with the gold rim, silverware. So we try to get as specific as we can with the sketches, but it's still just a digital representation of the overall setup. So that is her final tablescape that she's approved. Let's see here, wedding budget. So this will be the last thing that we go through. We've got two links that you'll be sent, the wedding budget and the guest list software. So when you click on wedding budget or when you click on guest list software, we're going to send you an entirely separate tutorial on how to do those because that's a little bit more in depth. But I do want to go over to this document and show you how to log in. You will be sent to iCloud, which is what it's doing right now. It's loading into iCloud. And we use numbers to set up this spreadsheet. We find that it's a lot easier to use than Excel, but you'll find if you've used Excel before, you'll totally understand how to use this format as well. It's just in a nicer, we think easier to use format. So you're going to click continue, and this is the same for the budget worksheet as it is for the guest list software. So again, you're just going to type in your name. So I'm going to type in my name here and click join, and then you're into the you're into the spreadsheet. I will give you separate information, separate tutorials on how to access this spreadsheet and how to use it to the fullest ability, as well as, let's see what I've got in here, the wedding guest tracking guide. So I will send a different tutorial for how to access those two documents and how to fully use those to the best of your ability. Okay, so let's get back into your client portal. The next tab is emails. So this will track all the emails that we've sent over the course of planning. Keep in mind that anytime I send you an email using this system, it'll pop up here. Anytime you send me an email and it's not in response to something I've already sent, it will not show up in the portal. So if you want to track it all in one spot, we suggest just responding to an email that we've already previously sent in order to make sure that it ends up here. We will do our best to initiate emails through this system so that they can all be tracked by you. And then the last page is the profile. So it's just contact information and address for you. So we'll go back over to the home page. So this is a better understanding. We've got 2 unread emails, 8 incomplete forms, and as you finish these forms down here, this number will reduce. And then again, open invoices will always stay at 1 until you've made that last payment. And then up here, which you can barely see, is the logout button. So when you click the logout button, it just brings you back to the login screen. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, give us a ring at 406-880-0592 or shoot us an email at eventsbyautumn@gmail.com.